Or are you guys gonna change the start?
National tonight.
Right, but what do you? Not, I don't,
Yeah, both ways.
except this one I think is gonna be.
Let's call the meeting to order, please. Take the roll.
Oh, yeah.
Mayor Zakowski.
Here.
Alderman Kittle.
Here.
Alderman Vries.
Here.
Alderman Weinmeier.
Here.
Alderman Gartner.
Here.
Alderman Montello.
Here.
And I have Alderman Volkert is absent.
Pledge of Allegiance.
Flag of the United States of America, republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second that.
Favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll second that.
Mention we had a couple of donations. One for Avalon Swanson for $5,000 for the library, and another one for Fluhart Group for $200 for a library, and one from Tractor Supply for $250 for New Richmond Rescue and Fire. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Continuing business, community water fluoridation. I just want to start out right away saying, whether you are for or against fluoridation, this affects over 11,000 citizens in our community. I believe there should be more time for discussion on this, and I'm going to offer, as the mayor, I'm going to offer to recommend to the council that we have a motion to have a referendum in April at the April 7th election. This way, there will be 4 months for pro and con discussion to get the facts out either way. Then the citizens in New Richmond will make the final decision, not the council on this issue. So I'm asking for one of the council persons to put a motion forward that we have a referendum.
Mr. Mayor, I will make a motion that we put the topic of fluoridation on the ballot for the April election.
And I will second that motion.
Discussion on that.
I will vote no, but I'm only one vote. I think we're ready to make that decision. I think we've had years and years of science that really proves that this fluoride is a good thing, and I think it's important that it's in the water in Richmond, and so that's where I'm at. I just wanted to say that, and I can only vote once, so.
I just feel that there are people pro and con, but let's let the whole community decide this. This is a big decision. It affects everybody. Everybody in one form or the other drinks our water. And I just think this is a big decision, and I just feel that we should have a referendum. We're having elections on that day anyways, and people in the community, over 11,000, can speak. Anybody else want to say anything?
Up until that time, April elections, we will be continuing to put fluoride in the water, though, right?
Correct. Fluoride will stay in the water until the election. We'll buy more, going to make sure that that's not going to be discontinued at any time before April election. Any other questions? If not, take the roll, please.
Alderman Kittle.
No.
Alderman Vries.
Yes.
Alderman Weinmeier.
Yes.
Alderman Gartner.
Yes.
Alderman Montello.
Yes.
Motion passes. We'll have that as a referendum item on April 7th. Now, public comments. I've got a list here of people that want to make some comments tonight on the fluoridation issue. And the first one, Steve Massey. You want to come up here, and when you come to up here to the podium, state your name and address, please.
Yeah, Steve Massey, 1205 Grits Way, here in New Richmond. Well, thank you for allowing me some time to speak. I think each of you received a letter that I submitted through NOAA before tonight's meeting, and if not, I know I did leave copies with Michelle. She can get them to you. So I'm just going to read it real quick and be available for any questions, not just tonight, but following the meeting today as we go into the, as we prepare for the vote coming up. But on behalf of health partners in Westfield's Hospital and Clinic, I'm writing to express our strong support for maintaining and strengthening community water fluoridation in New Richmond. Health Partners is an integrated, nonprofit health organization that combines medical and dental care with health plan expertise. This unique perspective allows us to see clearly how preventative measures, especially something as fundamental as safe drinking water, affect the health of children, adults, and seniors, as well as the overall cost and sustainability of care in our community. From our medical and dental clinics, we see every day how tooth decay can lead to pain, missed school and work, emergency department visits, and more serious health complications, particularly for children and for families with limited resources. As a health plan, we also see the financial impact of preventable dental disease across thousands of members, including avoidable procedures such as extractions, operating room care for young children with severe decay, and hospital visits for dental infections. Community water fluoridation is one of the safest, most effective, and most equitable tools we have to prevent this suffering. The American Dental Association has emphasized that more than 80 years of optimally fluoridated community water supplies have proven both safe and effective at reducing tooth decay, and that when fluoridation is stopped, dental disease increases, especially among children and vulnerable populations. And we included some links to some publications that supports that assertion. We also recognize that many residents may have questions about the safety of fluoridation, particularly around the children's brain development. A recent longitudinal study led by the University of Queensland followed 357 individuals from childhood into young adulthood and found no evidence that exposure to fluoridated water in early life harms cognitive development or lowers IQ. In fact, participants who consequently drank fluoridated water had slightly higher average IQ scores, even after accounting for socioeconomic and other factors. This research adds to a large body of evidence demonstrating that water fluoridation, as practiced in countries like Australia and the United States, is safe for children and supports healthy development. From an integrated health system perspective, community health fluoridation offers a rare combination of benefits. One, it's clinically effective. Two, it's health equity promoting. Three, it's cost saving. And four, it's aligned with expert consensus. So for a community like New Richmond, where Westfield's Hospital and Clinic serves as a key access point for both medical and dental care, fluoridated water is not an abstract policy. It is a practical, everyday public health intervention that helps us keep kids in school, adults at work, and patients out of the emergency room. We respectfully urge the New Richmond City Council to support community water fluoridation at optimally recommended levels and to rely on the best available scientific evidence as you make decisions about our municipal water supply. Doing so will help protect the oral health of our current residents and future generations while upholding New Richmond's commitment to a healthy, thriving community. Thank you for your service, and for your consideration of this important public health measure. Health Partners and Westfield's Hospital and Clinic stand ready to be a resource if you have any questions or would like additional information from our medical, dental, or health plan experts. So again, I appreciate the time to speak as president of Westfield's Hospital and Clinic. And like I said, I am available and resources within Health Partners with any questions that you may have as you continue this important discussion. So thank you.
Thank you. Next, Lynette McCarty.
Lynette McCarty, 553 Paperjack Drive here in New Richmond. I just wanted to echo what Steve has said too about the importance of keeping our water fluoridated. The history of fluoridation goes back to the early 1900s when research was done noticing that children who did not have proper dental care, didn't have opportunity to have fluoridation, had mottled teeth, and so they were researching what was causing that, and they determined that a small amount of fluoridated water would be effective in preventing that dental decay. When they conducted studies as early as 1949 and 1950, there was a 60% drop in tooth decay in children in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And continuing research has shown that over the lifetime of a person living in the United States with access to fluoridated water, tooth decay is 25% lower. than other people who don't have it. And I know there are people that don't have well water or that have well water that don't have fluoridated water. I've talked to people that have seen the results of that in their own dental health, and they've had to take supplements in order to have the fluoridation that we have accessible to us. I know it's an expense to the city, but at just a couple dollars a person per year, I think it's a great investment. So I hope that the city will support that. I'm glad to see that it's going to referendum, and I hope that people will educate themselves as to the importance and the science behind why we have fluoridated water to begin with. Thank you.
Hey, Brooks.
Brooks, 1634 Royal Lane, New Richmond. I guess at this point, rather than going into the studies and whatever, because I think they pretty much show that fluoride does help. One thing about that is that in my reading, if you get too much fluoride, then there might be problems. But I don't know why the city would give us too much fluoride, because that would cost more money, even so. Anyway, but what I'd like to talk about is communications. I was really disturbed about the communication regarding this farther than the fluoride issue with other things. It is so hard to communicate things to the public now without a newspaper or whatever. I think we all know that. So I was racking my brain. I had a nice talk with Mike Montello a little bit about that too, as to how to let people know that these things are happening. And on that order, I'm also concerned about the referendum, how we're going to educate people out there that are going to vote about this issue. So anyway, I just had a few ideas. One is the article came out in the newspaper, I think today or yesterday. So if we could get an article in the paper, that would be one thing. The utility bills idea was really a good idea when you did that. However, I will admit that when I look at my utility bill, I look at what I'm paying and I look to see what I did last year, did not notice that extra sheet. So I'm at fault for that. Then I went back and found it, and it just a little suggestion, maybe either to send something like this separately or to have it really a different color. It was the same color as all the rest of the utility bill. So, it's like I just didn't notice, because you get bank statements and things that are multiple pages, and I automatically take like the last two off and, ditch them. So, couple other things. I don't know if this would be out of line, but we get the alerts for the city, like when they close down Knowles for the parade. If there's going to be a big issue like this that affects 11,000 people this seriously, that there's going to be a meeting. Another thing that I mentioned to Mike, I don't know what you would think, but it would be neat to have an electronic board somewhere that would say, that there's going to be a city council meeting, this is what we're talking about, or if some big issue, so that the people driving down the street see it. Because I don't think with all the paperwork that we get that we see things that we would like. And also, for me, Facebook and, Facebook, unless it comes right at me what it is, I also don't notice that. So I'm just saying, as a regular person. And then I just have one more point to make. When you do the referendum, I would really like for whoever writes it to be very careful. I'd like people to be educated, first of all, and then with the wording, not to confuse or manipulate either direction. And I think you know what I'm talking about, because that happens.
L.A. Clausen.
Good evening. I'm Ellie Clausen. I grew up here in Richmond, but I'm also the public health administrator for St. Croix County. So I am here tonight to advocate as public health protects and promotes the health of our community, as well as prevents disease and injury and empowers communities to live healthier lives. That's our mission and vision. So I am here tonight to really promote the prevention of oral caries, of dental disease within our children, within our adult population. I know that this has already moved to referendum, and so I'd like to extend St. Croix County Public Health, all of our resources to help with the education of the community. That's what we're here for. That's our sole mission, vision, which I just explained to you. So please reach out. I have also extended to NOAA that we are open with whether that be education materials or just to access the resources we have. So we have at my connection and through me, letters have been passed to you from the Wisconsin Department of Health Services, from the American Dental Association, from the Association of Dental Hygienists of Wisconsin, and so forth, just really promoting the continuation of community fluoride. So thank you for your attention to this. I appreciate it.
If I get this name correct, Genevieve Palazzo Lo?
That's a
Maybe
correct
you want to
name.
say it then, when you
Yeah.
say your name
Yeah.
and address.
Jenny from the block, how's that?
Too.
Okay.
My name's Genevieve Palazzolo. I am with Ellie representing St. Croix County Public Health, and my role at the county is the public health strategist. So within that is health education. So I wanted to just provide a few quick facts that might be helpful. They echo a lot of what has been previously said, so I'm just going to cover the ones that we maybe haven't discussed yet today. First one is that we do have fluoride naturally occurring in our water. It's a natural mineral. It's found in rock, soil, all the water. But what we have in New Richmond will not provide any of those oral health benefits at the level that's currently in our water. So we need that 0.7 that's recommended. Also, I'm gonna skip ahead. It is regulated by the EPA, which is good to know, and they do water checks. So we know that our levels are accurate. And then something that wasn't touched on is we do have fluoride from other sources, toothpaste, oral rinse, all those good things. And fluoride in the water works with those topical applications, which means that in addition to being on the surface of the teeth, water fluorination also works at a systematic level, which means that it's working from the inside out, and that's super important for children as their teeth develop. And then also the limitation of people not properly using toothpaste, not having access, or not using it frequently enough, that fluorination in the water bridges the gap a little bit more. And then we also see that we're saving an average of $32 a year by avoiding preventable dental care. And all of those are backed by scientific research. So just a couple extra facts that weren't mentioned yet. Thank you.
Bruce Hansen? Again then, Bruce?
All here, I'm afraid. And I was a doctor, not a public speaker, as you'll soon know, I think.
Want to give your name and address?
Yep, Bruce, I'm Dr. Bruce Hansen, 661 Parkview Drive, New Richmond. I'm a retired family physician. I worked my entire medical career here in New Richmond, 36 years, and I've had the honor of being some of your doctors and friends for many more of you. Mary Ann, my wife of 55 years, is also here tonight. For Mary Ann and me, fluoridation is personal. We both grew up on small family farms near Grantsburg. We didn't have the benefit of fluoride, and as children, we had dozens of cavities. In fact, I probably wouldn't have to say a word, just open my mouth and you'd all go running away in horror here. That caused some troubles. We were afraid of dentists, for one thing. We really didn't want to see dentists, and it created a financial hardship for our parents, which I think can still be a problem today for a lot of people. Both of my parents had dentures by the time they were young adults also. In New Richmond, our fluoridation program started in the 1960s by Carolyn Craig, who was sitting in the second row there. She was our new public health nurse at the time and also the wife of Dr. Jim Craig, my partner. And I don't know, are you speaking, Carolyn, or not? Oh, okay, well, maybe not. So our daughters grew up in New Richmond, and they're each in their 40s now. They've each had less than 10 cavities in 40-some years, so pretty amazing, I think. My brother Alan Hansen is also a family physician. He's also a very conservative Republican, and he simply can't understand why fluoridation is, being taken out of water now. He also stated, which is true, that dental problems can lead to other health problems such as heart disease. When something has been working well for many years, it's certainly a temptation to just say, why are we spending money on this? We don't need this anymore. Well, I'd like to give a couple examples here besides fluoride. One is our table salt. When you go to the grocery store and buy table salt, what does it say? It says iodized. And the reason for that is we live in the middle of the country and we don't eat a lot of seafood that has iodine here. And before we had iodized salt, low thyroid and goiters were a very common problem. Another is milk. We grew up on a farm. I think we took vitamins, but before vitamin D was included in milk, rickets was a common problem. We just don't see that anymore, soft bones or rickets. Fluoridation is strongly recommended by the American Dental Association, the American Pediatrics Association, and the American Academy of Family Practice. And I know we're going to do a referendum now, but I thought that you folks should discuss this with our dentists. We have outstanding dentists here. And from our meeting last Tuesday night, we heard that 1 year of fluoride per person costs $2 per year, $2 per year per person. It's amazing. And I've read a statistic that for every dollar you spent on fluoridation, you save $38 in dental care. So that's all I wanted to say tonight. It seems like a good value to me to continue fluoridation, and I thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
I'm not supposed to say anything, but Dr. Hansen, I'm just appreciative that you didn't bring something you took out of my body 15 years ago with you tonight, so.
Next, Cliff Tanner, Dr. Cliff Tanner. Name and address, please.
Tanner, 994 North Shore Drive, New Richmond. Thanks for letting me speak to you all. And I'm not going to speak on the scientific merits of this. I mean, you can do a AI Google search, pros and cons of fluoridated public water supply. You'll see all the pros, and really the only significant con at the levels that we supplement fluoride now is an ethical issue. Should we be, medicating our water supply? So. And I love what Bruce said about the idea, and all that was beautiful. I'm going to give you an N of 1. I'm generally a scientific person and I go on the data. But I'm just going to give you a story of an N of 1, which is me. So born and raised in Dallas, Texas, publicly fluoridated water. For 10 years, we moved to a small town about the size of New Richmond in Lansdale, Pennsylvania, publicly fluoridated water. Never had a cavity in my life. Brushed, didn't floss. I hated flossing. It's terrible. Could have flossed, but I didn't. Anyway, so 12 years of age, moved to San Antonio, Texas. At the time, it was the only major metropolitan city in the nation that did not fluoridate their water. And my parents were well educated. We were middle class. Didn't think about it. And there's a guy named C.A. Stubbs in San Antonio, and he was a single man juggernaut to get rid of fluoride and to keep fluoride out of the water in San Antonio. It was so pure and it was bubbling up out of the Edwards Aquifer, and it was a communist conspiracy to poison our children and delete their brain cells. Anyway, so whatever. So I was our third year in San Antonio. I was in to see the dentist, x-rays, 4 cavities. One here, one here, one here, and one here. Got them all filled. The next, later that year, we moved to Houston, Texas, fluoridated water supply. Never had another cavity in my life. Now, those 4 teeth, I've never had any problem with any of my other teeth. They have all broken due to the cavities that I had. So I now have a titanium post in 2 spots with artificial teeth. I've got another one that was fracturing, has a cap on it, and another one that so far is holding out with a big amalgam in the middle of it. Someday it'll probably break. And really expensive, even as an adult. Take care of that. Here I am, and to think my parents, they had dentures at a very young age. They never had fluoridated water when they were young in Pittsburgh. Dad was in World War II. And here we are, most of us sitting here. I bet most of us here have a full mouth of teeth. Absolutely unheard of for humans. So, and I don't know if it's out of order, but I would personally like to thank Craig Kittle for voting no about sending this. That's a waste of money. We should have good enough representation to look at the data, to look at the science, to make a good decision to say, no, this is a no-brainer. AI if you want. I really appreciate your allowing me to share my story of one person, one human being, multiply the $10,000 worth of dental work that I've had as an adult, all because of 3 years in San Antonio. Are 12,000 people in our. Thank you very much.
Dana Casper? Oh, okay. John Mike? Huh? You want to say something, actually come up here so people can hear it, because this is live streamed. Okay. Lisa Babbage.
I'm Teresa Babbage, 1598 200th Avenue, and I'm here speaking on behalf of my 20-year career in public health as a public health dietitian, and also as a previous mother of young children that were raised on well water. And, starting off looking at the clients that I served, a lot of Medicaid Badger Care participants that really were struggling to keep food on the table. And we know that there's not a lot of providers that accept Badger Care for dental services. And so, we would encourage them, if they lived in the city, obviously they were covered, if they were out in the country, to get a prescription. Now, when my kids were little, which, my youngest is 30 years old, a prescription back then was $15. For us to ask or even expect the clients that I served to put that money towards a prescription when they couldn't afford putting food on the table, you know how high that's going to be on the priority list. Okay, so with the lack of dental care, this is really an important issue for the clients that I spent a lot of time serving, and I saw myself just such terrible dental issues in that. Flipping over to my own personal story, my 3 children, they had a pretty tough mom, and yes, I gave them that fluoride prescription, and I'm sure they were in the bathroom trying to spit it out. It wasn't easy to get them to. I now have a daughter that's a dentist, and she's like, Mom, yes, thank you. My kids all have pretty solid teeth, but, again, I was the dental Nazi back then, making sure that they took it. But it was expensive, and I was fortunate enough to be able to afford that for them, and they're reaping the benefits of that. So but you know, again, it is a challenge, and maybe not every parent is going to be as consistent and time to put that up. You know, a lot of the families that I serve have very stressful lives, and chasing kids might not be up there. So when these kids are in school, they're getting fluoridated water. A lot of them might have grandparents that are in the city. They're getting fluoridated. So I really beseech you about making the healthy choice the easy choice. It's a cost-effective choice, putting it in water, and really ensuring good dental health for our youngsters for years to come. I also would really second the lady that requested kind of an unbiased, educated piece in the referendum. I think, you know, consulting some of our dental professionals, doing this research yourself, as it's been said, there's so much information out there, to give bullet points both ways, you know, just general factual information that people can. I am confident that our residents will see the benefit of fluoride and provide some really unbiased information.
That is all I have for comments tonight, and I just want to thank everybody for coming. We have heard you, and thank you very much.
If I could, I just want to extend an apology to folks who were here last Tuesday, hoping that the council would be here. I don't mean to speak for everybody here, but I think I can in saying it was never our understanding about a discussion. It was more about a dissemination of information. But I apologize for the misunderstanding, and I've communicated that to several people, but that was not our intention, not to interact with folks. So I just want to say that.
And I'll echo that. The reason I wasn't here is because I have a number of grandchildren, and two of them had a Christmas program I had to attend. And to those people that I sent emails to, I did tell you that, and I apologize for that. The other thing is, it was brought to my attention tonight that some other people emailed me, and I found their emails. Dr. Hansen was one of them. I found emails in my junk that I did not answer. I will answer all those emails. I apologize. Every text I get, every email I get, I always answer. So I apologize if you're one of those people that think I didn't answer. I would have answered if I had seen them. I apologize for that, so. Yeah, I was very surprised because I don't know why, maybe our IT person can tell us why, but I don't know why it kicked those out, those emails. So I'm very sorry, because I will always answer if I get, when you have to talk to the mayor, if you can, you have to ask him if you can talk.
Hey, do you want to say, I mean, because we had public comments already. We're going to look at that. Nothing's been set yet, but we
Michelle
like
could probably answer that.
yeah, we like to keep it just straight and not a lot of confusion, because you've seen that already with referendums. By the time you're ready to mark something, what am I voting for? We just, probably it's going to be pretty basic. Do you want to keep fluoride in Richmond water? Something like that. Now you're going to have 4 months to have meetings or get the word out. I know it's more difficult. I just heard public health. Can they get the word out too? They send stuff out to a lot of residents. Look at different avenues of getting the word out on this. I mean, it's difficult in Richmond because we lost our radio station, or we lost our newspaper. That was our voice. That was our identity. But now there's 4 months to get the word out. It's not like a rush now to get something done. That's the whole thing, because there are some people on both sides of the issue, and if we voted tonight one way, they'll say, well, we didn't have a voice. This way, everybody's got a voice. The people in Richmond are going to decide what they want. It's not going to be the council pushing something. So that's why your voices will be heard. If you want to reach out to your neighbors and everybody else, that's great. Find different ways of reaching out. You got 4 months to do it. So again, thank you for coming and appreciate it.
Can I just want to add one last thing relative to your question, Kay? I think that it's, I don't know, no, we haven't really talked about this, but getting some input from folks relative to the question that would be put on the referendum. I would hope we'd have some type of plan for public input to really have it be a neutral question, right? It's not a matter of, and I realize y'all are pro-fluoride folks, but don't take this wrong, but if you were here arguing on behalf of a subject that you were against, and the city put out something that said, hey, we should do this, right? I think we want to have something neutral, so I don't know what your thoughts are about that, Noam.
Yeah, so we would plan that for our meetings in January, council would look at a draft question, but I would certainly welcome feedback from some local, some of you even here in the audience to tap into your expertise. And I think we've all voted in past at state referenda questions, I think to the mayor's point, where you read it and you're not sure what they're asking, or you vote yes, but it means no, or the opposite. And so while the council would approve of the final language, I think it'd be great to get some feedback for people to read. Does that make sense to you, right? So I think for some of you who've offered your expertise, we will certainly take you up on that offer.
Thank you.
Again,
Anyone
thank you,
here?
everybody for coming.
Jim, did everybody get to speak that signed up?
Everybody in the list spoke.
So there's nobody here at all?
You
that
had to sign
are in
up to be
favor
able
of
to speak.
taking it
That's our
out?
policy here. that
Can
you-
Mrs. Craig speak, or quickly? She started this fluoride stuff.
Why don't you come over here and, we'll give you 3 minutes. That's it.
Carolyn Craig. I came to this area as county nurse in November of 1960. And at that time, there was a lot of credible information coming out about the benefits of fluoride in the water. Some communities had natural fluoride in their water. That were shown, proved that no one was getting cavities in those communities. And so I made it a point of arranging to gather the dentists in New Richmond. And I'm glad my children never had cavities. Never had a single cavity because they were drinking. Anyway, I was very proud of the program, and I'm quite surprised that this even came up as an issue, because it's so helpful. And if we do not fluorinate our water, parents are going to have huge. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn.
If everybody wants to leave, unless you want to stay for the rest of our meeting, we're going to go to new business.
Good after this.
Thank you. New business, Tourism Committee recommendation, 2025 third quarter funding.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The next 3 items are all in relation to the Tourism Committee. We'll just see if anybody wants to stay for it. You guys are going too? Okay, bye.
I'm gonna stay.
So the first item is a review of the third quarter applications. The Tourism Committee met and reviewed funds available. Those were all in your packet. Over $53,000 was collected in room tax in the third quarter, so 70% of that could go out in grants, which is $37,400. Along with the carry forward funds, at the third quarter, they had $91,592 available. We only received 1 application. That was from the New Richmond Area Chamber of Commerce for Fun Fest. The Tourism Committee spent significant time reviewing that and made a recommendation of giving $36,256.74 on that application.
Is that what they asked for?
It's a little less than what they asked for because there were a few items that didn't qualify, including like finance charges and some other things. So pretty close, though, to the full amount.
And is that the only Fun Fest money they got? They haven't gotten some earlier or in different quarters?
From room tax, no.
Okay. Thanks.
Nope, that's the only time. And I'm happy to answer questions specifically about that application. Pete was there as well, and I'm sure he's
Well,
happy
I'm going
to.
to ask you, this
Yeah.
53,466.16, how does that compare to the same period last year? Do you know?
It was slightly up, I believe, from the one last year, but we had that at the, 1 second. I can tell you.
We look at that every quarter, where we
Do
were.
you look at last year, same
20,
time period?
21, 22, 23,
Okay.
25, yeah. I think third quarter was slightly up, not a lot. Not as high as what I think 2020 or 2021, we were substantially higher, but things have dropped
I have
since
it
then.
right in front of me. So it is in third quarter of '24, 51,900. So up about $1,500. That's not Rayanne math. That's clerk math. So
I'll just ask the question, at what point, so various organizations that we give money to, at what point are we entitled to ask for financial data of the financial strength of these organizations?
well, they have to give the financial situation of the particular event that they're looking for funding for. We have never asked for the organization as a whole.
And I actually wonder, relative to certain dollar amounts, if in fact we shouldn't be asking, sorry, that sounds like a double negative. Should we be asking for financial data from organizations that, at a certain dollar amount, I wouldn't say every dollar amount, but at a certain dollar amount, where we have an understanding of what an organization's financial situation is? I think that, as you look at expenses, do you look at revenue?
Yes, we do look at revenue, and unfortunately, in this last request from the chamber, we did not get all of the revenue, even though we continue to ask for the revenue as well as expenses.
And that's a problem to me. I didn't know that, okay? But if an organization says, hey, we want some money from room tax revenue, and they have an obligation to give us, by the way, this isn't a loaded question, I didn't know that. There is an obligation to provide the financial performance of the event, and they only provide one side of the equation. That's problematic to me.
100% agree. And that's not the only request.
No.
There's other requests from other organizations that probably doing pretty good.
Right.
That we have no idea if they're doing very good or not.
And so to that end, and I'm only talking about the chamber because that's the only thing we got right here this time, but I agree with you. And I actually would encourage the council to adopt the policy. I'll just throw this out there as an idea. Once the disbursements from our room tax is over a certain dollar amount. If you have an organization that does one event, and let's say they get, I have no idea, $2,000, right?
Whatever.
I don't need
Doesn't
that
matter.
information. But I think when we get over a certain dollar amount, we need financial performance data because we have no idea, but yet we are giving money that as a municipality we're collecting. I think we have an obligation to taxpayers to understand what it is.
Business in town that uses a building that we own for nothing, and we have no idea how much they make or don't make. No idea.
I completely agree with you, and I'm willing to go back at our next tourism committee meeting and write that into our policies.
Well, and
10,000, 20,000?
Yeah, but there needs to be a number, and I would like to see the tourism committee come back with a recommendation that the council could adopt going forward. I just think the lack of oversight, and this is not a slap in the face to the Chamber of Commerce, but it's disturbing to me. I don't know if there's a better phrase to use, that we ask them for the financial performance of the event, and we don't get that. I actually think it needs to be beyond that once you get over a certain dollar amount, but certainly there should be no disbursement until we have all the data that we require that's in your policy right now, which is just the event.
That's one thing, though. They met all the requirements, right? They
No,
handed the
Jim.
bills and everything that was approved by their committee. It was in there. They had to do this, and that, and some things are thrown out. But what they presented were things that they could. I don't care if it's the chamber or anybody else. If you're following their guidelines, so be it, but they followed their guidelines.
So before Pete responds, before you respond, Pete, so you would agree with me that if they're not following the guidelines, they shouldn't get a disbursement. So go ahead, Pete, tell them.
They did not give us all the information we requested.
What was it? I don't know.
They didn't give us the revenue. They only gave us expenses, and we said, we want to see both. And they
But
gave
do you
us some
ask
of the-
that
So is that written in there?
It is,
Okay.
it is.
everyone that asks for money?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Everybody has to follow the same guidelines, okay.
So,
Provided,
is they didn't follow the requirement. Do we have any business approving a disbursement to them when they didn't even give us the information on their event that they're required to? You said, and I agree with you, this is the rules. If you don't follow the rules, if you follow the rules, you get the money based on the way it's laid out. And if you don't follow the rules, you don't get it until the information is provided. So why would we approve a disbursement when they didn't answer what the policy says right now?
And I will also say at our tourism committee, certainly the chamber is always, any entity that's requesting money, we ask them to come to make sure if there's any questions from the committee.
You mean from the chamber?
From the chamber for this request.
And just for the record, this is not a load, I didn't know any of this. I'm just asking the questions relative to a policy for total disbursements in a year's time. I didn't even know that they hadn't provided the information.
Policy we have is for the event that they're requesting money for.
Right,
You're
but that-
suggesting
they
we
didn't
should
meet
have
that.
more than that, a policy that says if you're requesting over a.
Well, in a year's
$2,000
time, I would say in a year's time, no, whatever the number is.
I don't think the organization in general, Pete.
Well, that's what he's asking.
No, I think just the event, a specific event. I don't care how much the chamber has in the coffers, but I would
That's-
like to
that's
know a
their
profit and
business.
loss statement on the Fun Fest.
So, and
And for Fun Fest,
yeah, and what I meant was that if you're gonna get over, and I don't know what the number is, okay, but over X number of dollars a year, you should have to provide financial disclosures, which, just for the record, you can look up on the public records, it's Form 990 that they have to fill out. But we really have no idea what the breakdown of that is. And again, we are the stewards of public monies. And we have an obligation for oversight. So again, I got to really be careful because I'm not suggesting anybody's doing anything wrong. But when you hear of situations that have gone on, let's just say in a neighboring state, because of lack of oversight, I realize this is a lot smaller. I hope I got a laugh out of you there, Greg. But don't we have an obligation when we're talking about this money to have greater oversight? That's all. So that would be for the tourism committee to come back with a recommendation. But relative to this disbursement, I don't know how we give it out when they were required to do something that they did not do.
Again, I want to understand. So we're talking about one event that somebody's doing, not, we don't need to know their
I don't
financial
think so.
status.
I don't think so.
Not right now. Yeah, not right now. Yeah, it's not that way right now, but it is right now.
Park Art Fair, yeah, if the Park Art Fair says give me $8,000,
We-
and you made $68,000 on the Park
Yeah,
Art Fair.
I have no problem with that at all. Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking initially we were saying they had to give us their financial papers.
I don't want that. I want it
That
per
we
event.
can't- That would be
Just
wrong.
for
I
that
think.
event, that's what they were applying for,
Yeah.
that one event.
Yeah.
If that's the case, Mike, that's something different than what you're asking for, but that is already in our policy.
Well,
Correct?
but
Am I correct, Michelle?
Well, and
That's in the policy.
I just want to encourage the council too, if it's a broader conversation, because this the item on the agenda is just the application, I just want to make sure we don't get into a broader conversation. about
Sure.
the policy.
get it
So
on the
I'll just say,
agenda.
relative to this event, you did not get the information that they're required to provide for this event. True or false?
True.
Okay, so we have no business approving the disbursement until they provide the necessary data. That's how I feel.
Any other discussion? Roll.
Well, there's a
I don't
motion.
have a
hasn't been
motion.
made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michelle's got a lot left, I'm assuming.
I'm like, I don't have a motion.
No, but you have a lot left to do in this presentation, I
So
would?
this is just the first item. So if we want to
Okay.
do a motion on this one
Okay.
to approve,
It
table,
is
or
a separate
deny,
item, so yeah. So have a
then I'll
motion.
go on to the next one after that.
Mike, do you have a motion about the tourism committee recommendation of providing $36,256.74?
Well, I don't know if we need a motion to deny it until the data is provided, or if there's lack of a motion, but I guess if you want a motion to deny it until the necessary documentation has been provided, that's my motion.
You could just put that in the motion, with the contingency that they give us the information.
Right.
We
And-
approved the
and-
36,000 Just like you do a planning commission thing.
based on.
With
and
those
that- based on-
contingencies.
Based on the tourism committee reviewing the information and recommending to do it. If something came back and the tourism committee said, oh, we got heartburn about this, but subject to the tourism committee's approval based on that information.
I'll second that motion.
I'm sorry, can we clarify, is it denied?
No, he's making a
It's
motion.
approved once
Pay it if they
the,
approve
They
it.
get the check when they tell us how much they did made in the Fun Fest.
okay.
To get the
So it's
full-
approved based on the release of the rest of the
Yes.
information? Okay.
Well, just the
wanted to make
completion
sure.
of their application.
Okay.
So when do you have another tourism committee meeting?
June.
We can meet separately.
February. We'll,
You can set something up. You can set something up.
Well, she said it's February, but.
Second, take the vote. Take the vote,
Alderman
please.
Breeze,
Yes.
Alderman Weinmeier,
Yes.
Alderman Gartner,
Yes.
Alderman Montello.
Yes.
Alderman Kittle.
Yes.
Motion passes. Next item, Tourism Committee, 2026 Visit New Richmond, River Travel Media Contract and Third-Party Advertising.
Yes. Christy, do you want to go to this one? Yes, page 123. So the second item reviews the 2026 contract, and Lexi made this really great comparison of 25 to 26, and this did come forward at a previous work session. So if you have any questions, please let me know. But essentially, our contract with River Travel Media, we will see $26,010 for the whole year. We will pay that out quarterly. And then the third-party advertising expenses will also come through and be paid out separately, but over the whole year, it'd be $8,558.
We'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Discussion? Take the roll, please.
Alderman Weinmeier,
Yes.
Alderman Gartner,
Yes.
Alderman Montello.
Yes.
Alderman Kittle,
Yes.
Alderman Breeze.
Yes.
Passes. Tourism Committee recommendation 2026 Visit New Richmond Best of Contract.
Best of the okay, so this is something that's a little bit different. One of the items specifically, this is on top of the third-party expenses that we're talking about, would be a program called the Best of New Richmond. So in 2025, we created really great momentum with the Visit New Richmond sweepstakes and all the different launches that we had of the website and the social media. The Tourism Committee wants to build on that. We can't just let it sit there. We want to continue to engage people. And River Travel Media showed us a few examples of best of campaigns. They recently did one that was linked in your packet for the Best of Toma. In the Best of Toma, they saw a 2,000% increase on their web traffic through the Best of. Essentially, they run the entire thing, but there's a nomination period for best of everything you can think of in New Richmond. It's good for restaurants, it's good for your dentists, it's good for your hair salons, your favorite parks, your favorite pathways, everything that you can imagine. And then after that, there's a voting period. And then the River Travel also organizes the awards that would go out to all of those. And so over the last year, we have seen 40,000 visits to our website, 188,000 interactions on our Facebook page. And so this would really, if you can imagine the traffic that this could build on top of it. And so the hope is that it creates that momentum that truly establishes a chance to visit New Richmond. So if Pete wants to answer questions about this as well, we did have a couple different business owners at the Tourism Committee meeting who kind of weighed in on their opinion as well on this.
But we at work.
Why don't we have a motion first? And then
Motion to approve.
Second.
now discussion.
So, and I can't even tell you who it came from. But I got one of these in the mail. Like, oh, you're a best of,
Oh, okay.
okay? So I get the idea.
Yep.
But I am curious, you had businesses at the tourism meeting.
Yes.
Anybody express a concern that if they don't get a best of, the impact of that, and is it one per category? So everybody could be a best of.
No, so there will be, during the nomination period, a certain number of businesses will be nominated, and then it really depends on the businesses in that category, obviously. from there, they narrow it down, and you do get like a first place, second place, third place, and they get a printable something to frame for
Certificate.
that, yep. And so, there could be best restaurant, but then within the best restaurants, there's also going to be best burger, best Bloody Mary, best gelato, like all these different ones. So I think that, it's an opportunity for people to highlight what they do really well.
Businesses that
So-
that were there said, this is great. If I don't win first place, that's okay. My name is brought up, and it's brought up, and it's brought up, and it's just advertising for them. That's what, excuse me, that's what they're looking for, is maybe somebody says, well, really? They're the first? I think this other place is, well, I'll check them out, but I'm gonna go back and forth. So I think it just creates enthusiasm in the city.
How does,
I don't think they're gonna go with best general manager of an automotive car company.
Well, that would be an easy decision. It would be somebody else, but anyhow.
how do we measure, and I asked this question numerous times, how do we measure all this information
Yeah.
here? How do we measure how many people are coming to Richmond? What is the method that we know that this is effective, spending about, what, 35,000 a year? How do we know?
Right.
More people are coming here. How
Yeah,
do we
so-
measure it? Not by clicks and that, because I click on a lot of things, but it doesn't mean I'm going to be buying that or going there or whatever.
Yep. I mean, obviously, this is feedback and conversations with the businesses. And a piece of that is how they're building their social media. And through us building ours, they're going to build theirs and see people come through. Some of this, which I don't know that everybody likes that, is not 100% tangible. You can't touch it.
Well,
that's
And
more
you
than
can't,
some.
short of going on. But it is definitely anecdotal in talking with people and seeing who's coming. We are having and the chamber has said this as well, we're having really successful events. And I do think a big piece of that is the change in the advertising. But it is like, we can't just say we did this Visit New Richmond for 1 year. It's going to be
I'm not
on the
saying that.
No,
second
we-
year. And we're going to keep going and continue the conversation of having people. We are having another, in the beginning of the year, we're having another open house marketing seminar for the businesses to come in. That's free for them to really understand how to use this. And that'll be another time for us to get more information for them. And so it is. So when you're at places, you need to make sure they know about Visit New Richmond and ask them how they've used it.
But there is
But,
software out there that really quantifies how many people are
oh, for sure.
at McDonald's or
Yeah.
at the Park Art Fair or at the
Absolutely.
Fun Fest by their cell phone data or
Yep.
all kinds of stuff that you can get an exact number. So you
Yep.
put an advertisement in for whatever, Park Art Fair. And last year there was 3,000 people there and you advertised and you clicked and you got more clicks and better
There is
websites
software
and
that
Facebook was
will-
huge.
yes.
And then this year you got 8,000 because we know there was exactly 8,000 because we could tell by their cell phone data.
Yep.
I mean, that apparatus is out there. And to me, that's more of this is really working. So after we do this for 3 or 4 years, it'd be nice to maybe think of something like that. There's some in the area that do that. Businesses or cities or businesses that do that really can tell you exactly how many people are where.
Yep.
Ellen knows about that.
I have lots of thoughts about that.
I know you do, because you told us about
Yes,
That
there
can be
is
done.
software that does it. It is very expensive.
how
And
expensive
so
is
it is
expensive.
looking at, well, we have not researched everybody who does it. And one company that we met with was $15,000 for a year.
Well, you're spending 35.
Yeah.
Well, I think part of it also is.
Without
is
data.
I think part of it that we have to rely on is those organizations that are putting on these large events have to work with us and let us know how they're doing. You know, do they feel like the Fun Fest grew? Do they feel like Park Art Fair grew? So we have to rely on some information from them as well as all the other stuff we're getting from.
We have also
But that's just an estimate for
updated-
them too. They're just guessing.
Yeah. In 26, our room tax forms, we've updated those for the ones the hotels submit to include better details on their occupancy. And so hopefully that's another way. So we are continuing to look at how we gather the information and how we can get good numbers. So
We have a motion on the
can
floor?
try and-
I would call for the question.
Any other questions?
Called for it. I called it.
The roll, please.
Alderman Gartner,
Yes.
Alderman Volker, oh, sorry about that, Alderman Montello,
Yes.
Alderman Kittle,
Yes.
Alderman Vries.
Yes?
Alderman Weinmeier.
Yes.
Motion passes. Preliminary and final plat application, Fox Run 8th edition.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. This item was discussed last week by the Plan Commission. This is a preliminary and final plat applications. These were two separate applications, but they were submitted simultaneously. This is for another phase in the Fox Run development. This includes a total of 16 dwelling units. You can see on your screen 8 buildings, 8 twin homes, so 16 total units. This would be to the north of the current phase that you've seen under construction for the last few months. So when you first enter the Fox Run development, there's been some construction in addition of a road, kind of the southern portion of the development, closer to County Road K. This would just be to the north of it. This would also make that full connection to have that north-south road, which would be Coyote Way. So if you've driven out there, you've seen there's a second access now constructed onto County Road K, but currently that dead ends. This would make that full connection. Currently, the developer, and obviously this is subject to market conditions, but they're planning that this would be a 2026 project. But obviously, caveat based on market conditions, there can be changes where this might get pushed back. But fairly small phase. There are 4 conditions noted in the staff review memo. Just some updates that I have to make more on the utility side of things for some of their final plans. But the recommendation from staff and the Plan Commission is to approve the preliminary and final plats with the 4 conditions noted.
Motion to approve.
Offer that motion to approve it based on the conditions outlined.
Second?
Discussion. The roll, please.
Alderman Montello.
Yes.
Alderman Kittle,
Yes.
Alderman Vries.
Yes.
Alderman Weinmeier.
Yes.
Alderman Gartner.
Yes.
Passes. Next item, bid results, electric department pickup truck.
Mayor and Council, we recently submitted or solicited bids for replacement of a half-ton pickup truck for the electric department. We did receive 3 bids. The low bid was a Ram 1500 from Bernard's Northtown at the price of $44,987.92. We are recommending that bid. That was a recommendation from the Utility Commission when they met last week.
I'll make a motion to approve the low bid of $44,987.92, but I will have
I'll second it.
question I have, and I talked to Noah earlier today about this, about the extended warranty. I know some vehicles and some departments were doing extended warranty, other departments were not, and policy to have different No, sorry to put you on the spot, but I'd like everybody else to hear what you told me today.
Yeah, so I think a lot of it's a little bit case by case basis depending on the use of the vehicle, how long we keep it. Obviously a police squad car that we may have for 3 or 4 years versus a vehicle that we may have a longer period of time and may trade in. Some of it's dependent on just driving behavior, right? Is it a vehicle that we use all the time? Is it one that we use more seasonally? And so, just like you may make your own personal decision whether or not to buy an extended warranty, all those factors that you think about. And so, you'll see for tonight, the recommendation from staff in this case was to not get the extended warranty, but if it's something that the council wants us to do going forward, and, maybe to Pete's point, something from, obviously we solicit bids every year for various vehicles. If there's something that, if the council wants to give us some direction on things that you think we should or shouldn't, we can, we'll certainly follow your lead on that.
Any other questions? Not take the roll, please.
Alderman Kittle?
Yes.
Alderman Vreeze?
Yes.
Alderman Weinmeier?
Yes.
Alderman Gartner?
Yes.
And I have Alderman Montello has abstained.
Motion passes. Next item, request authorization to purchase three-phase transformer.
This is another recommendation from the Utility Commission meeting last week. The electric department is looking to purchase a 2,000 kVA transformer for an upcoming development. While we're still working through the final sizing requirements, it could be a 1,500 or it could be a 2,000 kVA transformer that's required. At the present moment, a 2,000 is what is necessary, is believed to be necessary. Therefore, we're requesting approval to move forward with RESCO for the total cost of $55,232. However, should further analysis show that that transformer size could be smaller, we would be also looking for a contingent approval to then proceed with RESCO for the smaller size transformer at $47,597.
Mayor, offer a motion that we approve the Utility Commission's recommendation as just outlined.
Second?
Discussion? Not take the roll, please.
Alderman Kittle?
Yes.
Alderman Vreeze?
Yes.
Alderman Gartner?
Yes.
Alderman Montello?
Yes.
Alderman Weinmeier?
Yes.
Passes. Next item, authorization to bid ash tree removal.
In preparation for ash tree removal in 2026, we are seeking authorization from the council to bid that service out. Just kind of as an overview of what was accomplished in last year, we removed about 70 ash trees, both from contractor and through the contractor 70, and then we were able to also remove about 40 to 50 smaller trees through the public works staff. We have approximately about 360 more ash trees remaining to be removed as part of that EAB removal plan that we estimate to take over the course of the next 5 years. The funding for this would be coming through that new forestry fee that would be effective at the first of the year, but allowing us to go out and bid would put us in a good position to be able to accomplish this work earlier on in 2026. So at this point, not authorizing any funds, just authorizing staff to proceed with seeking.
Mayor, offer a motion that we approve staff to solicit bids for the 2026 ash tree removal project.
Second.
Discussion? Roll, please.
Alderman Vreeze?
Yes.
Alderman Weinmeier?
Yes.
Alderman Gartner?
Yes.
Alderman Montello?
Yes.
Alderman Kittle?
Yes.
Passes. Next item, bids for police department vehicles.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor and Council. So the 2026 capital plan called for 2 new marked patrol vehicles with the trade-in of one 2022 older vehicle that's at end of life. Public Safety Committee authorized us to go out for bids for the Ford SUV pursuit vehicles. And we received a number of different bids back from Johnson Ford with different engines, and then also from Ewald's with the state bid. After receiving those bids back, staff is recommending the hybrid version of the Ford police vehicle, police interceptor, utility vehicle from Johnson Ford for $43,164, and then adding the $2,900 extended warranty onto that. And we feel like that's been a value for us over the course of our squads, at least, with the number of miles, especially idle time that we're putting on them. The miles doesn't always mean anything, but we're seeing that pay off. And then also the trade-in value of $12,000, I believe it was $12,000. On the trade-in of the one that's at end of life, and then we'd also have, for each squad car, $20,000 to have it upfitted with lights. We'll reuse what we can off the vehicles, but the one that's going out, I think this is like the light bar, it's the 3rd vehicle that this light bar has been on, so, you know, they don't last forever. So we'll have to evaluate what needs to go on that, and then also for the new squad, an additional $20,000 to upfit that with the spike strips, computer, PBT, and a number of different items that we would need to restock. And also we're finding that some of the equipment, like our preliminary breath test machines are aged, and so there's gonna be some need to replace some of the internal parts. So the other numbers that you see there are not to exceed amounts. And then also it should be noted that this year for the vehicle maintenance, we bid that usually with the bid. There was some discussion, and that's not included on here. And if we get approval from the council to move forward with this, then we'll go back out for bid for maintenance on the vehicles, the oil changes and different scheduled maintenance for the life of the vehicle. We couldn't do that preemptively because we didn't know which squad we were getting and which motor style and things like that. So the cost of the hybrid has come down considerably. So we're gonna give that a try and see if we can see a savings on fuel and maintenance by going with a hybrid vehicle. I'd be happy to take any questions.
How many miles do you get on a hybrid?
Pardon me?
How many miles you get on a hybrid before you charge?
Doesn't charge.
It doesn't.
Just the charging is in the brakes.
Well, that's what no, I meant how many miles do you get on one charge? I've got a hybrid and I get about
You
30.
don't have to plug these in.
Not a plug-in hybrid.
It just
it's a-
auto recharges
Oh,
off
it's
the
just the
motor
one
and
with
the
the
brakes
brakes
and
and-
things
okay.
like that. It's just got,
Okay,
Got a generator in the brakes. Every
Okay.
time you touch the brakes, it kicks in.
mine's a different type.
yeah.
Yours plugs in? Yours plugs in? Oh, okay.
And then goes to gas.
Well, even hybrids might be valuable to you. There's a lot of times you're idling, slower traffic,
Yep.
just
Yeah,
cruising.
and we've done some research on it. When hybrids first came out, there was some agencies that went to them and they weren't working out very well. But I think the technology's finally catching up. We checked with Hudson Police Department and a couple others that are running hybrids, and they are seeing some savings in fuel. We haven't quite figured out how we can do that within our department because everybody drives a little different. Some are out, at night when it's really cold out. We don't know how that's gonna be affected and different things like that, but we're gonna monitor it as best we can to see if that's the route to go moving forward, so.
And it's the car you want anyway, so.
Wintertime is gonna be lower.
They hit their brakes a lot, though.
Yep.
When I had a problem with my car, I got one of those kind of hybrids, and I was amazed at how around town, it actually works pretty good. When you get on the highway, it doesn't work so
You gotta
good, but
drive
in
it right.
town- What?
You gotta drive it.
Oh,
right.
yeah, yeah, I learned after about a
You can't
week and a half
just-
of driving
at a
that
stop
thing.
sign, you can't just hit the gas and go.
Yep.
You kinda gotta.
Yeah.
I'd make a motion to approve.
Second.
Other questions? Roll, please.
Alderman Weinmeier,
Yes.
Alderman Gartner,
Yes.
Alderman Montel is abstained, Alderman Kittle,
Yes.
Alderman Breeze.
Yes.
Motion passes. Next item is room reservation policy, community space, New Richmond Community Library.
So as we,
Mike?
oh, sure.
Mike?
So as we approach the completion of construction for the Richmond Community Library, we've prepared room reservation policy for all of the various meeting rooms in the library. Now, if you recall with the design of the building, there are 12 meeting rooms total. 9 of those are within the library itself. And then there are 3 rooms on the west side of the building that could actually be reserved. And in the case of the large meeting room, even on weekends when the library would be closed. So while the library board would review policies for the spaces within the library itself, the large meeting room and the 2 meeting rooms adjacent to it would be under the discretion of the city council as well as the fee schedule. And so included in the packet, we have a document really outlining expectations when it comes to the use of those spaces. I'm not going to go through it in great detail with you, but it really outlines hours of operation, use of the space, expectations when someone, in terms of who's doing setup, who does cleanup. So a lot of this, we looked at other policies, not just for other libraries, but community centers, but also private facilities as well. Because even in our community, we have private banquet facilities, and all of us have over, outside of our work here with the city have reserved, whether it be a picnic shelter or a town hall or different things. And so in some of this, we didn't have to reinvent the wheel. So we're looking at what are some of those standard expectations that we see. This outlines use of food and beverages, behavior and conduct of the group that's making the reservation. Anything from smoking, music, advertising for the event. So again, if you're having an event there, it's not the city's responsibility to do advertising, on their behalf. And then it gets into, at the very end of the document, outlines the actual fee schedules. And so again, we looked at comparable size spaces, again, not wanting to, really wanting to kind of strike a balance, making sure that we're charging an appropriate amount that's not too much but not too high. We don't want to be undercutting local businesses that also have their own private facilities, but also making sure that, whether it's the library or the school district doing an event, a nonprofit group, whether it be a private event, that we're charging an appropriate amount. And this, obviously, we haven't taken any reservations yet. The building's not done. So this also isn't something that would be, set in stone, right? This is something that, we're recommending at least bringing it back to you 6 months from now to see, based on the demand, are there things that we didn't include that we should add? Are we getting feedback that the fees are too low, too high? But we think this is a great starting place and something that we'd want to have ready so that when we do open the building to the public in January and people can see the space, that all this is already ready to go if they want to book it for a meeting or an event. So we'd be looking for any feedback from the council tonight, as well as a potential motion to approve, with the understanding this would come back to you next year as well.
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to offer a motion that we approve the room reservation policy for these community meeting spaces as it's been presented tonight.
Second. Discussion?
Well, just one thing. So I'm reading the list of things that you can't do. Okay? So unlawful activity. Well, let's just start with that one. Exceptions will only be made for programs organized by the Friends of the Library. So just out of curiosity, could the Friends of the Library have an unlawful meeting there?
So,
sorry, you don't need to respond to that, Noah.
Guess you didn't have to respond. Any other questions?
what he might say, Mr. Mayor.
Take the roll, please.
Alderman Gartner?
Yes.
Alderman Montello?
Yes.
Alderman Kittle?
Yes.
Alderman Breeze?
Yes.
Alderman Weinmeier?
Yes.
Passes. Any communication or miscellaneous?
We have a Toys for Tots box in the lobby, and it's really full, so we're gonna get it emptied out by the program administrator, and everyone needs to come back and fill it up again.
Else?
If I might, Mayor, I don't know if you saw, I know you guys have been busy, but I sent out an email Friday night, reference the most recent homicide in Richmond and kind of the closure involved on that. And I just want to publicly say thank you to my staff for the work that they did on that, and also the surrounding agencies, Polk County, St. Croix County, that assisted very heavily with true crime scenes of that magnitude. We haven't been able to really talk much about it publicly until the case is concluded, but I just can't say enough about the work that the Richmond Police Department staff, Polk County Sheriff's Department, St. Croix County Sheriff's Department, and all the other kind of entities that came together. Those things are big deals around here, and we couldn't do that stuff alone. And so I just wanted to let you guys know how appreciative I am of the support of the city, the support of the council, and the support of those other agencies. That working relationship, I think, is second to none. Not every county and municipality has that, the pleasure of working as well as we do with those agencies. So
I would
I
just like to
appreciate-
point out, you're the one that thanks everybody all the time. You mean so much to this police department, to this city, to your officers that work hard for you. And it's not just because they want to, it's because they work hard for you. I just want to say thanks for the job you do, and it doesn't go unnoticed up here.
That means don't retire for a long time.
I want to extend thanks as well. You know, I think oftentimes people can just take it for granted that New Richmond doesn't have more crime. I don't want to say we don't have any crime, because we certainly do, as the case you're referencing certainly is. But that really is a result of the work that you and your department and your officers do in this community, so thank you.
Thank you. Anything else?
Mayor, I'm
I'm
gonna,
gonna
you want to
make
say
a
it? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to make a motion to close
Yes.
session per state statute 19.851E, deliberating or negotiating, excuse me, the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session.
I'm going to offer that motion.
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Alderman Montello?
Yes.
Alderman Kittle?
Yes.
Alderman Breeze?
Yes.
Alderman Weinmeier?
Yes.
Alderman Gardner?
Yes. We're in closed session. Anybody want to take a break quick?
I just need you to sign something quick.
Are we off of the live streaming?